As the weeks count down, it only means one thing. We're getting towards the end of this Premier League season, and we're back with game week 35 Premier League roundup show. Joined by Shaun as always. Shaun, how are you?
Good evening, mate. Not too bad.
Good. Josh couldn't join us tonight. He is unfortunately not very well. So get well soon, Josh. We will hope to see you next week. Entertaining weekend of football, Shaun.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's sort of coming towards the end now. So it's looking like there might be a little bit to play for, maybe even on the last game or second from last game. So it's not completely dull. You get the odd few mid-table forgettable affairs, but yeah, there's still bits and bobs for people to fight for.
Yeah, there is for sure. Hello to everybody watching in the chat. Let's get on with it then. So, first up, pretty much. Well, I think it does mathematically relegate Watford. Crystal Palace 1, Watford 0. Pretty much, I think that's Watford relegated now, Shaun.
Yeah, was this the one that relegated them, or is it a was there with the camera if they were relegated the week before or not? I can't remember, to be honest.
I don't know.
Oh God, it's just Watford, isn't it? They can with them. I think I'm gonna repeat myself a lot on this show. I think a lot of clubs, whether they've gone down or going to stay in the league, a few have reached a bit of a crossroads, or the owners need a bit of a rethink a little bit, or the squads need a shake up. The Watford owners they're probably going to be these sort of stubborn types that they know best, and that's it until the end of time, until they run out of money and sell them probably on the backside as a club. But if they want to come up and ever have a chance of staying up, they just need to stick with a manager. And I think they weren't doing too bad. When was it Marco Silva they sacked or someone? I can't remember. Was that who it was?
Yeah. Because it was Marco Silva then Claudio Ranieri, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I can remember even the fans on TalkSport even had the right to suggest it might be the right decision. A few of them, and it was like because the football wasn't very good. I'm thinking, hang on a minute. So they got to have a little rethink there. Well, big rethink. Palace, same really. I think Vieira's had a lot of praise here, but he's going to be an ambitious man. Let's be honest.
Oh. There, mate. We can't hear you. Was that me? Hello? I can't hear you.
Hello, mate. Sorry.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
I was just saying that Vieira, I know Arteta signed a new deal with Arsenal, but Vieira's going to be linked to that job until the end of time, isn't he? Until he goes. So, yeah, I think he's, I don't know.
Oh, we've lost him again. Christ, somebody must be ringing him. Somebody must be ringing him.
I'm having a
someone ringing you, Shaun?
Yeah, sorry, mate. I am having a nightmare. I might have to take a call quickly in a minute, but it's a bit of a nightmare. There, I got a bit of a nightmare going at home. Yeah, so they're just gonna have to keep backing him, aren't they, or something? So, yeah, one of them games.
Yeah. Let's just take some comments. If you need to take a call, mate, just let me know.
Okay. Sorry about this.
Afan, hope you're well, mate. Evening, everyone. Feeling we can get top 6 if we beat City, as Manchester United will lose to Palace. Our goal difference is so much. But we'll get Shaun's views on that little race towards the end when we get onto those games. But I don't think they beat Palace in the run of form they're in at the moment. We've just spoke about them there, and that means we've got 2 games to pick up 3 points because our goal difference is substantially better after this weekend's round of games. Let's have a look here. Peter says, Jake, you look different. You're wearing a wig. No, I've got my hair cut this afternoon. No wig involved. Right, moving on to the second game then. What are we dealing with? Oh, to be fair, a result we could have done without. Chelsea 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Tell you what, Chelsea are falling apart, Shaun.
Yeah, were they 2-0 up or 2-1 up? Because it wasn't until
2-0 up, about 20 minutes to go, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't until later in the evening that I realised it was 2-2, to be honest. And I think Wolves have been on a shocking run of form. I don't know. I think Chelsea, I know they've had these off the field issues, but I'm not elite level footballers, and apparently one of the best coaches in the world. So I'm not really gonna buy into that affecting the club too much. I think it's a bit of a lame excuse. Yeah, I think I haven't been that impressed with Chelsea. I think I said last week a few of us tipped Chelsea to win the league this year, and well, they haven't come close to it, have they? At the end of the day, I can't even remember how far they got into the Champions. Is it Real Madrid that knocked them out the other week in the Champions League?
Yeah, quarterfinals was that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not having an excuse of Abramovich and all this nonsense. He doesn't play the games. They haven't had their wages stopped. Do you know what I mean? They haven't really had. I can't recall them having any. I know they've had Chilwell and Reece James out, but Chelsea have always traditionally got one of the best squads in the league. So yeah, I said earlier they'll be one of the clubs that need a little rethink. They've fallen into the Man United bracket of just they chucked 100 million at Lukaku and he's barely kicked the ball. Exactly. So I don't know. There's too many clubs just throwing blind darts a little bit at times, and I think since Fergie left United, I think United have more or less done that every season. It's just called panic football. When you see the likes of, I hate to say it, Man City and Liverpool, they rigorously plan what they're going to do every summer well in advance. They scout well. They may have the money to chuck it, but they know what they're doing. They're not getting to the middle. They're not getting to the middle of July or August and thinking, right, who's around?
Yeah, but I think with Chelsea as well, they've seriously gone off it, and quite a few of us tipped, as you just said, them to win it this year. And then what Peter says here, whereas at Arsenal will get third. They're only a point off. There's only a point in it, and if Arsenal beat you lot on Thursday, all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't think they will. Personally, I don't think Arsenal will get third. I don't think Arsenal have got an easy last 3 games, so I don't think they'll catch them. But I think even like Chelsea, Rudiger, I think it's announced today's off the Real Madrid. Yeah. I think Kante's hit a bit of a buffer. I think he kept them going. He used to do the run for 2 men. Now he's starting to look a bit leggy and a bit lost out there. So.
Yeah, with Chelsea, a rethink is needed this summer, I think, and whatever they're going to do. I don't know. I was just going to say hello to James first. Hope you are well, mate. And Kieran as well. Crikey, Kieran. Good day, young Jacob. 405. Yeah, Kieran, you are a madman. But hope you are well. Peter says, hope we don't have to beat Brighton to get into the Europa League, as the way they wiped Man United aside was frightening, and because they are our literal bogey team as well. And then Peter says, when Chelsea get a new owner, can they spend their millions again as normal? I don't know.
Well, they I think the new owners, it's a consortium, isn't it? They're obviously loaded because you're only going to get a load of people by what you put Chelsea, definitely top 5 club in the for size, probably, maybe, definitely top 10. You're only going to get multi-billionaires by them. Whether they're going to be as extravagant as a Sheikh Mansour at City or an Abramovich, you probably say unlikely, because not many owners, even the multi-billionaires, not many of them chuck it around like it's just something annoying them in their pocket. Do you know what I mean?
Well, exactly.
But when the deal's signed, these new owners do like to sort of make a bit of a statement when they sort of come in. And with Kante going, you wouldn't be surprised if they offer West Ham silly money for Rice. So I'd have my eye on that, what their owner does when it's signed. It wouldn't surprise me if Kante's legs are going a bit back, they might try their luck with that at West Ham. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Moving on. Peter says, need to go at City instead of sitting back and letting them come at us, hoping for a draw. It's a difficult one because it is going to be an emotional day for us all. I don't think we win. I hope we don't get battered because we haven't been battered all season. I hope we do, stand up for ourselves, but it's going to be difficult whatever happens. Hopefully we can give Nobes the send-off that he deserves. Gary says, evening, biggest game of the season, Thursday for you lot. Will they bottle it? Well, I think we'll get onto that later on, but I just want to say I think Arsenal fans are being a little bit too optimistic that they've already got fourth, because all of a sudden the Spurs win on Thursday. There's a point in it then. Anything can happen, but we'll get onto that later on. Just what the doctor ordered after Frankfurt. We'll get onto the Norwich game later on. Peter says, can't see Levy opening his purse strings for Conte. Well, we'll let Shaun have his say on that in a second. Right, let's continue then, because otherwise we'll be here all night. Next up, right, we won't spend long on this because it's one of your favourites, Shaun. Nobody cares about it. Brentford won, Southampton lost. Nobody cares, Shaun.
Was it 3-0, wasn't it? Was it 3-0, this one?
I think so. Unless I copied that wrong.
Yeah, I follow a few Saints reporters on Twitter, and they don't know that this Hesson Hill, they praise him, they slate him, they praise him, they slate him. I did read, apparently some Brentford fans said it was never a 3-0, but I think Brentford are just on a bit of an end of season sort of party. Do you know what I mean? Since Eriksen come in, I know they got a few injuries. I think they had a few injuries against us the other week, but they're one of these sides, a bit like I was always told Bielsa did it at Leeds. He's got demands for them playing 100% right to the line. Do you know what I mean? So I've got a funny. Who have Brentford got second from last game? It's Leeds, not Leeds.
Do you think I know that? Sure.
I should know it because I've had a bit of time now. I've been studying it. So I can't remember. And anyway, I don't know. I think Brentford just go to the line. I think they've had a great year. Southampton, I don't know. They're just I was listening. This is how bored I get. I was listening to one of their fans' forums, and they were saying they got like 5 good players, and the rest probably aren't good enough for the Premier League. So you think that's what our fans of a lot of sort of rough mid-tables are saying? Do you know what I mean? It can actually quite eye-opening and having a good listening to what other fans are saying about their own teams, just so you like a different slant on it in this. Yeah, but that's just. I think Brentford done brilliant. First season up. I can't fault them at all. Let's just keep one eye on them next year, because as I've said a few times, I think they find it a bit tougher.
Yeah, second season syndrome is going to come into their next year, and I think that's what will happen, especially if Eriksen goes back to you lot, like he may do, or elsewhere, because I don't think he stays at Brentford personally, and I think they find it difficult next year. But quite a big weekend for the relegation zone, because all of a sudden it's gone from Burnley fans having a party to Burnley fans in disarray. Yeah. Speak on behalf of Josh. Burnley 1, Aston Villa 3, Shaun.
Bit of a mad one, this one. I don't think, but no one would have seen this coming. I think Burnley had 3 or 4 wins in a row, climbed themselves out of it. To be honest, I probably, like most people, Villa can be a bit of a soft touch under Gerrard. I think they can be got at, and going away to Burnley, I think most people would have expected Burnley to get at least a point.
Yeah.
Well, I've said this many times. The picture changes every single week. So I think Burnley will still be okay. I think Villa are another side. Like, we speak to Josh, he doesn't seem blown away by Gerrard in the job, I don't think, when you hear him talk about it. And I've read today, it surprised me a little bit. Apparently, the club definitely want to make Coutinho permanent. So that's the direction they're going to go. I think they've got ambitious owners. I think one of your fellow bloggers on your page said the other day they linked Ollie Watkins to you. So I had a little comment on that. I think I found a few reasons, and I read straight away, did a bit of research, what Villa fans think of him, and they were talking 50, 60 million to get him from Villa to West Ham. Whether West Ham have got that sort of dough for one player, I don't know. But what I did sort of point I made, Villa are the sort of club and owners that are probably more ambitious owners with the checkbook than West Ham. So you'd probably think next season, how these owners are so impatient, they will want Villa to be up, trying to catch where West Ham are, like definitely at least mid-table. So they're not probably going to want to. I don't think Ollie Watkins is the best centre forward in the world, but they're not going to want to go and strengthen a team who they probably see.
I don't know if that's me or Shaun, whether we've lost him or not. But just to mention, oh dear,
I'm still here, mate. I'm not muted.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Was that me that went all funny there?
It was you, mate. I didn't mute it, but
Uh, technology. But anyway, carry on. I've
I
got no idea what you said, but carry on.
was just saying, like, the Villa owners will be ambitious, and they won't really want to strengthen a team that they will probably, in their minds, class is one that's going to be in the same sort of mini league as you next season. Do you know what I mean? Like,
But I think with Ollie Watkins, you know, you say the 60 millions are probably not what we're going to be paying for a player. But right or wrong, we've heard in the last couple of months more right about the stupid bids that we put in for the likes of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips at the end of the January window. We've heard that was more right than wrong, that coming out. And I think if David Moyes wants him and he can get him for 50 to 60 million pounds, I think he goes and gets him, to be honest, because simply because I thought right at the end of that window, we started to get linked with some very, very good players and true links as well. You know, the Darwin Núñez's, the Phillips, the Rafinhas,
it's possible, mate, but the problem, I've been there with my own club. I've heard of like Lautaro Martinez into Milan. We apparently put a bid in for him and it was like 70, 80 million. Okay. So then at the end of the window, you're like, right, where's that 80 million gone? That 80 million's just disappeared. I don't know what it is, whether a lot of it's just clubs like to put out a false rumour to make it look like they're trying. That's one conspiracy theory. Another stand that this might be more realistic. Not many clubs whacking 80 million, 50 million bids on a player up front. So you might bid for 50 million for Calvin Phillips, and it might have been something like, can we play £10 million now and 10 million a season? Do you know what I mean? The story you'll get is 50 million. That sounds brilliant. The club, at least, probably laughed down the phone because no one wants to take bit part payments. So that's why sometimes, like I said, my club's put in a bid. And it's like, right, if you can bid 80 million for him, why aren't we going in for him for a similar price? It's because not many clubs pay up front and early. Yeah. This is why some deals might think, Christ, you've had a rumour linked to a player going on for like the whole window. And you get into the last day and you're thinking, is that going to happen? It's just because clubs just don't get close to agreeing how you pay the money, not necessarily the fee.
Yeah, it's mad because you look at Jadon Sancho, whether that was true rumours for all that time or not, but the amount of time he was linked. We've seen Erling Haaland officially confirmed today from Manchester City. How that will work, 60 million quid. I mean, Arsenal paid 72 million pound for Nicolas Pepe. They get Haaland for less than that.
That Pepe deal is a good example, actually, because he was signed over about 6 years. I'm sure it was something like £18 million a year forever. It was something ridiculous. It was something ridiculous like that when they got him. But
but anyway,
transfers are strange. You can't read too much into it because you don't know the details.
Yeah, because just another example as well is we signed Nikola Vlasic, and I don't know, but I don't know how much we've paid for him because we've heard now that we won't have to pay as much because he came from the Russian league. With, of course, everything that's going on, we've heard.
I did read another funny transfer story earlier. Actually, it was the tricky. I've forgotten his name. The tricky Brentford winger. Is he from South Central?
Visa.
Is it Corton? Or, do you know the one they got in the January window? He's the quite flashy one. Doesn't look like a Burnley player. Is he from Central America?
Burnley Cornet.
Cornet, yeah. Apparently, he's told the assistant coach that he wants to return back to his loan club, the club that he's on loan from.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he had to be reminded it's actually sold, not loaned. So
it's mad, honestly. Football transfers is mad. But Peter says, well done, Brentford, who have a great scouting team and should be okay next season. £60 million for what, 10, 11 goals this season? I understand that, Peter, but I think with better players that we've got around him, I think he scores more goals. And when we did go to Villa Park, it might have been a one-off game. Actually being there and seeing Ollie Watkins, I was impressed so much with not only his on the ball work, because he had nothing that game, but his off the ball work, his pressing. He's a David Moyes player through and through. And I think it's definitely something that we should visit this summer transfer window. Villa won't finish above us next season. They won't if they're going to sign Coutinho, to be honest, as well, because
they might not, but their owners would expect to be close. And I think you've said before that your squad's going to be ripped apart a little bit in the summer, and you've got a few up for contracts down. So don't be surprised if they're close. They will. I can't see it being far apart.
Gary says, does Shaun think if we would have only had the Premier League to worry about, we would have been above them? So in terms of West Ham and Tottenham.
Good question, that.
It's a good question.
Well, I think Tottenham are guaranteed to be above you now, aren't they? I think.
Yeah.
I might have been, maybe just, but when you think where Tottenham were, don't forget we had. People forget probably that we had Nuno for the first 4 months of the season.
Oh, here come all the excuses. Roll them out, Shaun. Roll them out.
And we had players playing that just damaging for the club in the dressing room. So what Conte's done in the 7 months he's been there, I think his record puts us in the top 3. So yeah, you probably would have but yeah, we'll get on the Tottenham, but if Conte's given what he's not going to get everything he wants because he's a bit of a sport brat, he demands a lot. But if it become close to it, what he wants, I have got high hopes of next season. So much so, it's strange. This is unusual for me to say, I don't think that the Champions League this year, they're getting 4th, is massively as important as been in past years for Tottenham.
Yeah, because just with that West Ham thing as well was I don't think many Spurs fans would have said that after in the concourse in Anfield, you lot were all singing there'll be no effing bubbles in Seville. Well, we were already in Seville, Spurs fans, if you're watching, when you were knocked out of the Conference League. So yeah, Spurs fans got ripped apart on Twitter for that, and rightly so. Conference League, mate. Conference League. Just
sure Tottenham fans are laughing that way.
Simon, hope you are well. Well, you're late, and that's a late mark on the register, and you've missed us talking about your calamitous end to the game, which really helped us out. Thanks a lot, Simon. Right, let's move on to another calamitous performance down on the seaside town of Brighton. Brighton 4, Manchester United 0. I didn't need to go and see a comedian this weekend. I just watched Man United. Absolutely brilliant, Shaun.
I know this is. I was out Saturday evening. I was enjoying the sun at the Froome Cricket Club, having a few beers, and I was like 4-0. What? And then I was even more surprised when someone said, "Oh, United have only got 1 game to play." I thought, how have the fixtures worked out that they've got 1 game to play? I don't know. Anyway, I did actually listen. I like to show a bit of interest in you, Jake. You had the United fan on, didn't you?
Yeah.
After the game, I had a little listen, and he just said basically that they're on the beach, didn't he? But how many years can we keep saying United are in a bit of a mess and need a rebuild? Do you know how? I don't know. I think strange thing. What is very easy to forget. I think I'm right saying this United team with Ollie, who everyone's slated, without Ronaldo, finished 2nd in the league last year. Now,
I understand why they sacked him, but really, if they were going to sack him, then they needed to bring somebody in. This Ragnick's just been an absolute waste of time. Waste of time.
He did have to go, but when you look at, they come 2nd. They signed Varane and Ronaldo and Sancho in the summer, and probably 1 or 2 other I'm forgetting. How can you go from 2nd to probably 6th doing that? That tells you there's something massively wrong, which doesn't involve the personnel that's coming in. Whether I don't think, well, Ronaldo's a strange one because he's probably going to hit 20-odd goals by the end of the season, roughly.
Yeah, he has already, I think.
Right, and then, but you hear he's bad for the dressing room of his demands. You think Fernandes was a decent player for a couple of years. He's done nothing this year. I think he was up.
Players, honestly, players go to Manchester United and their careers just get worse, and a lot of United fans said, good luck to Nemanja Matic moving on now, because he's been, in these last few months, he's been one of their better players. You look at it now, when you look at the likes of Ronaldo, he was, the camera on Sky Sports Live panned round to him on the 3rd and 4th goal. He stood on the halfway line laughing in disbelief. He's never heard of Brighton before this season. Never heard of them.
There's something strange going on there. I don't know what it is. You won't get it from any of the pundits because they just like to look about to explode half the time. Like your Nevilles and your Keanes. Even Gary Neville this week come out with some appalling comment about Conte and that, which everyone just really, even journalists were ripping him to shreds how stupid he sounded. It's just, I don't understand it. I don't like admitting that, obviously, because I try my hardest to understand everything. But it's strange. Like even Lingard, that they wouldn't let him go. They just I don't know. They wouldn't let him go. Obviously Sancho.
Lingard himself has come out and said how toxic that dressing room is.
Yeah, you got to feel for Sancho. He's been linked to United for at least a year, I think it was, a couple of windows. He gets the move, thinking he's going to be the club's big signing. Then Ronaldo comes in and takes it away. And obviously, Greenwood spent more time in a cell, so his sort of career stuttered and stuttered. I haven't ever really been the biggest fan of Rashford as a player. He's fallen off a cliff. He looks like a 9-year-old just learning the offside trap whenever I watch him. So I don't know. They've got a new manager coming in, Ten Hag. I don't. I'm going to say right now, and you can save this. I don't see them top 4 next year or already. Whoever they sign, I don't see it. So yeah,
there's something deep wrong, deep something really wrong there.
Yeah.
You know, with Ragnick going upstairs for one day a month
Yeah.
and then swelling off to do the Austrian national team or a club in Austria or whatever, and it's really wrong. And to be fair, I absolutely despise Man United, but in the way that you almost feel for their fans, because they've had it just recycled year upon year. They signed Ronaldo, he does his best, but it's got worse this year. You know,
I don't.
10 years ago, honestly, 10 years ago when Fergie left, whenever it was, if you said fast forward 10 years, you'd be losing 4-0 away from home to Brighton when you are now in a race with West Ham to get the Europa League.
I know. I don't, like I said, I don't see it getting a lot better next year. I really don't. But yeah, let's move on from them.
Yeah, you know, Peter says here Ten Hag wants them back for early pre-season training. He's got his flipping work out right there.
The players have proved there's too many players in that squad that will do what they want. He can have them back early for pre-season. Doesn't he say they're going to graft? Do you know what I mean? He's got as mad as it is. They've built a squad of egos that whoever goes in there. And this is my reason why I don't think they went for Conte, because they know he kicks ass, basically, Conte. You either buy into it or you go, and he tells you straight, and United don't want that. They're scared of upsetting the names at United. So, Good luck to Ten Hag, but I don't know. Let's see how he goes.
Something just as light-hearted, because we like to talk about United, is someone says, valid reason for my lateness, cooking my dinner, chicken and mushroom pie, new potatoes, and lots of veg. Was it really lots of veg, Simon, or if you just put that on there to make yourself feel better? Really? I'm sure I 100% agree that you had lots of veg. Let's have a look and scroll down. Kieran says Man U has become a graveyard for good players. They've just skipped. Let's go back there. Robert says, don't know who we are going to sign, but only hope they are pacey. Evening all. Yeah, I agree, Robert. Hopefully they got a bit of pace, because that's what we lack desperately. Evening to you though, mate. Let's scroll down. Mike, hope you're well. Evening all. Sorry, I'm late. Been rough for a few days. Hope you're feeling better, mate. Be better for Sunday for sure. Look at this guy. Moyes, lateness is not acceptable on this channel. Well, it's not like you rocked up 20 minutes late, Simon. Come on. Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. But right, let's move on. And next up then, time to talk about a little bit of this then. Liverpool 1, Spurs 1. I believe Spurs went 1-0 up, Shaun. I was surprised. Luis Diaz brought it back in the second half. What was your thoughts, mate?
We might have to speed it along a bit with some of these games, so I might have to shoot early, mate. But so we'll rattle through them. I was disappointed, to be honest, we didn't win. Is my honest truth. I thought Conte did a brilliant job. I don't think how we defended, there was no luck about it at all. He's very, well, it's no secret, he's a very intelligent football coach. Planned it brilliantly. I think they had 3 shots on target. One of them was a proper save. One of them was I could have caught, and the other one was a deflected goal. Do you know what I mean? But it was a bit like when we played them early in the season. Early in the season, it was 2-2. I think, believe it or not, Man City and Liverpool haven't beaten us this year. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it, really. I think we played well. I think 4th isn't the be-all and end-all this year.
Oh, I think we just lost Shaun again there. Whilst we Oh, he's gone. Right, let's I'll tell you what, we'll see and wait whether he comes back. Haven't done this solo for a while. Fingers crossed don't get banned. Shh, don't tell anyone. Mike, if you can jump on, we'll send you over the link if you're feeling all right, mate. But anyway, let's have a look at some of these comments. Peter says, funny sub was bringing Maguire on when they were 4-0 down. Exactly. That was funny. That just sums up where they are as a club. They bring on their centre back and their captain, or whatever he is, when they're 4-0 down. Get Fergie off the board. Son is more important than Kane. Is Jake a Tottenham fan? No, I'm Jake. I'm a West Ham fan. There's no Spurs. Shaun's a Spurs fan, but we're not getting into that. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, a massive result for Everton in the race for survival. Last week they looked like they were down in the depths, and this week they come back and pick up the 3 points away from home. Is that their first or second away win of the season? Evertonians were still in there half an hour after the final whistle, singing fair play to them. It's a massive 3 points for them, and bad news for the likes of Leeds and Burnley. Fat Frank Lampard's done it for him. He's got them to win 2 straight games, and all of a sudden it looks like they're now going to stay up. It changes every week. It really, really does. Who's going to win the league? West Ham, mate. No, I'm joking. Man City. Sharky, big Craig Dawson's Claret and Blue Army. Yeah, we saw Craig Dawson win an award last night at the player awards. Let's bring the main man back. Here he is, Shaun.
Sorry, I had to take an emergency phone call, but I got you for 20 minutes. So
20 minutes, right then. I was just talking about Leicester 1, Everton 2, mate. Massive result for Fat Frank and his side.
Yeah, they weren't. Did they go 1 up, then 1 all, something like that? And then they made it 2-1. It is massive result. Like I think we said last week, at this stage of the season, momentum counts for a lot, and I am surprised Frank's got a tune out of them, to be honest. I've watched them a few times in the Frank, and they look shocking. They didn't even look like they were buying into a game plan. And out of nowhere, I think sure I said when it was the Merseyside derby, you just seen that bit of fight in them. And I was reserving judgment until they played Chelsea the week after, because sometimes with a derby you can just up your game, don't you? The crowd get behind you. But no, against Chelsea as well, every ball they were fighting for it. And at this stage of the season, 2 wins in a row, it works wonders. But it's so tight down there. I think the Leeds manager, when he came in March, I think they won 2 or 3 in a row, or won 2 and drawn 1. Then you lose 2 in a row, then you're knackered again and back in it. But for these teams, they're running out of games to have this downturn and upturn. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah,
not going to take for Everton, because as you can imagine, I'm sure you've done the same with West Ham's little run-in. You're probably looking too far ahead at these games and what might happen. If Tottenham have a chance of getting 4th, I would like Everton to have something still to play for on the last game. So, but that's including a lot of ifs and maybes and what ifs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but, massive result for Everton. Leicester, where they've just resigned to the mid-tableness, haven't they? So, but we'll move on as we move up to Norfolk. Norwich 0, West Ham United 4. We were there. It was a training game, to be honest with you. It was just one big party. I've got to say one thing, no, fair play to the Norwich fans, because they were very light-hearted. They know they're absolute rubbish. We know they're absolute rubbish. Everybody knows that they are absolute rubbish. They were singing "We've got the ball, we've got the ball" at one stage when they had the ball, which has summed their season up. Yeah, they were poor. As soon as the first goal went in, you pretty much knew that was going to be that. And we whacked in another 3, 4-0 win, a much needed win, to be fair. Of all teams we probably wanted to play after 3 straight losses in the Premier League, it's going to be Norwich. And we just smacked them to the side as we're coming out at the stadium. There's a big crowd of Norwich fans singing "We want Delia out."
Did you spot, if you were going to be on a scouting mission, did you spot a player in the Norwich side that you might take?
No, they were
I know
they were just rubbish.
I don't know if he played, but I know he might have missed his opportunity to move actually. But I know Max Aaron's has been linked to go again, the right back.
Yeah, he has.
But,
Yeah, and they've got former West Ham man Sam Byram, who's had a couple of really bad injuries, which has kind of halted his career, and that's why he's ended up where he is, going down to the Championship with Norwich. Yeah, I mean Timu Pukki, to be fair to him, he was one of the few that actually looked like he cared.
yeah.
That was a bit, pushy and like just, I think it was frustration. He gets absolutely nothing set up to him every single game, and he must just get incredibly frustrated. But let's take some of your comments then, and see what you guys think of the game. Easy 3 points for Everton at Watford tomorrow, says Peter. Rice, Bowen and Dawson in that order for me in regards of hammer of the year. Yeah, I think that's what the actual official result was. So yeah, the Norwich fans were quality. It was a very good day. Peter says should have been 7 or 8, didn't get out of third gear. Byron was running round like a madman. He certainly was. Norwich were poor, but you still have to do a job, and we did. Exactly. Good to see Ben Rama get a couple of goals. Put it in the chat. Am I being too harsh, or did he find his level? Sorry, Ben Rama against Norwich. Am I being too harsh there? Because he certainly hasn't done it for a good period of time, and rock up Norwich, and he turns it on. Put it in the comments. Bit controversial that, but anyway. Simon says, question for you both: what was your favourite game this season from West Ham and the Spuds? My favourite game of the year, well, there's been plenty. If we're talking Premier League, I'd go, it's either got to be the Liverpool or Chelsea game at home. In Europe, it's got to be Lyon away. And Shaun, I mean, you can only give one because you had a pretty poor Europe campaign, but go on.
Mm-hmm. Don't count that as Europe. Don't count the second and third tier of European competitions. It's funny with games, isn't it? Because there's not always that many good games. I find with fans, you tend to remember big moments. Do you know what I mean? Or a big goal. But I suppose the best game, which included the biggest moment, was beating Man City 3-2 away. It was a great game. I think we deserved the win. No one goes getting a content game plan. This is when we're in the height of our counter-attacking. Brilliant. I think we had a goal disallowed late on, and then Harry Kane header in injury time wins it. Moment-wise, I don't think many in the whole league this season would have beat. That moment at Man City was pretty big, but winning, was that 3-2 as well? Was it 2-1? I think when we won at Leicester, when Bergwijn scored in like the 94th and the 97th minute. That was that's game. Goals like that, late goals, which comebacks, moments like that. I think that's what football's all about, really. Like the other day, I'm going to talk about a proper European competition now. It was the anniversary of Tottenham winning in Amsterdam when Mora got the hat trick. So you've seen all that go. Moments like that. I think just the moments in footballs, that's what you remember. Like, I'm sure if you go back at yourself, Jake, maybe, I don't know, you say you've been supporting West Ham 6-7 years. If you go back more or less to the first 3 or 4 years, you'll probably remember more moments rather than the actual games. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm sure you can remember, like, it's all about Mark Noble at the moment. I'm sure you can remember, like, one goal he scored or something. Growing up.
Yeah,
like,
Leicester away.
Yeah, like Tottenham beat Arsenal in the FA Cup semi-final. The game was, no one remembers anything about the game. They just remember Paul Gascoigne scoring a free kick from 35 yards. So, I expect you've seen that goal yourself, even though it was 1991, Jake. But I bet you couldn't tell me even who they beat in the final or who scored the winner in the final. Do you know what I mean? So you remember whoever the team. You remember moments like when you drew 3. Did you lose on penalties to Liverpool in the cup final at Cardiff? Was it penalties? Was it?
You are a cheeky one, you are. No, yes.
I was going to say, I can remember watching it and you were ahead. And the only thing I can really remember of that game was that Gerrard worm burner that drilled in the bottom corner.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on. It
was penalties.
Robert. Yes, it was penalty, Shaun. It was. Robert says, "I go Brighton away in 2 weeks' time when we beat them to clinch Europa League again. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed. We might see you down there, mate. Fingers crossed. But nevertheless, hope you have a good day. Mike says, Liverpool, for me, we had them rattled for about 20 minutes. Don't happen very often. Home and away as well. We had them rattled away from home as well. You know, if we would have learnt to take our chances.
What's the score in both games?
3-2 and 1-0.
So you lost both games?
No, we beat them once.
I was going to say, you were starting to sound when Arsenal play. Arsenal fans have been hyping up the 20 minutes they outplayed Man City all season. So that's their moment of the year when they're the better team against them for 20 minutes.
Oh well, you know, Arsenal's Arsenal. We beat Man City in their own cup on penalties. So yeah, have that City of our B team. But anyway, right, let's move on because we haven't got you for long, Shaun. No. What's next? Arsenal. Flip it now. Arsenal 2, Leeds 1. A brace for Nketiah. A red card that I thought was bordering yellow/red, slightly towards red.
Yeah. Right, we've got to cover two bases here because we do like ripping in the lead, so I'll cover them a bit. We said they look down, they're going to struggle. I've just remembered that they're the team that Leeds have got to play. Brentford have got to play Leeds, sorry. I couldn't remember earlier. Yeah. So I think Leeds have got Chelsea, Brentford, Brighton. Okay, so, and I think they got Chelsea at home, and I would actually say that's probably the game they might have the best chance of the 3 in. The problem is, I know they brought this new manager in because he had a similar sort of level of press to Bielsa. But I watched them. Who did they play? Man City last week when the lad broke his leg. I was covered before I half blamed the ref because their pressing got to the point where everything looked reckless. And I think that's what a little bit against Arsenal, Ayling, like there's pressing, there's control pressing. They just look like they're just flying in too much and it's just not controlled. And it's almost, I don't know, he's been there a few months. They look like they play like a team where the managers come in like last week, where they just are go and try hard and they're charging around. So I know it's still tight. I think there's only goal difference there, or maybe 1 point there in the bottom 3. I just think they got the toughest run in. They haven't got a striker. Ayling, he's one of the ones that loves the club, so he loves the badge. Dallas is another one of them. All they got around there is a few like foreign defenders they bought, which probably will want to go at the end of the season if they go down. Do you know what I mean? And Phillips, to me, looks like he's either not fit or his mind's elsewhere. Rafinha, another one. He hasn't exactly rolled his sleeves up. So yeah, I think they're in big trouble. I cut off a bit during the Tottenham game, so I'll just do a tiny bit on the North London derby. Someone a minute ago said, will Tottenham bottle it? Well, Tottenham are the team behind. So in my mind, if you're chasing something, you can't really bottle it. I've always viewed that saying that way. So it's whether Arsenal bottle it between now and the end of the season, really. I think you said Tottenham, if they win, are a point behind. I think it's actually 2 points behind. But yeah, so the outcome of the weekend we spoke last week, if Tottenham didn't beat Liverpool, Arsenal could secure 4th on Thursday. So they can secure it. But in a way, I think it'd be the first year since 2016 they finished above Tottenham. And bear in mind, Arteta's been there 3 years, spent 550 million, I think he spent on players. And Tottenham have gone through the mess of losing the Champions League final, losing Pochettino, Mourinho, Nuno to get to here. In looking at it logically, they should be finishing above us, really. What Conte's done since January, both the signings and built them up. I think if the season went on another 2 months, I think we'd fly clear of them. I think the game, I can't call it, is the honest answer to that. I think if what I will, there's two ways I can't call it. It depends if it gets to like the hour mark and it's in a draw, and Arsenal think, right, we're going to settle for a point. I don't know if they've got that in their locker, but I think I've said before, where Tottenham struggle, and this can be against the worst team in the league, if a team sets up the low block where they just sit deep, put 10 behind the ball, soak it up, Tottenham struggle. So if they get to the hour mark, 70-minute mark, and it's all square, if they do that, they can kill the game. Yeah. But if it's not, if it's your typical gun-ho derby, it could be a classic. I can't really call the winner. What I will say is, I think if Arsenal are at their best and Tottenham are at their best, I think Tottenham are the better side. That's what
I agree.
I do think, but it's tricky. It's weird. I usually sort of top four, and I slate the Europa League. I haven't got a lot of interest in it. If we go into it next year, it'd definitely be. I'll have all my eyes on the Premier League, trying to do better than that. But if Conte gets what he wants, he won't get all of it. Talk is that there will be money. We've actually got some good players to sell, make money. Bear in mind, some of the players we've like Ajax and others want Bergwijn, so you're talking 30 million for him. Lo Celso, he's not cut out for the Premier League. He's tearing it up in Spain. I think Villarreal, Seville, and a few others want him. That's 25, 30 million. Carter Vickers, I think you're linked to him when the stories the other day. He's going for 10 million. Yeah, one of your other bloggers said it was a story. I did put him straight and said I don't think he's Premier League class. So we can make, with sales, we can probably make 120 million, and that's with other deals on top. So I won't do a score prediction in the North London derby. I think I can't honestly call it, and I'm not really sort of fan.
I don't think anybody can call it, to be honest, because it is a derby where there is quite a lot on the line, and you don't know what Arsenal are going to turn out. You don't know what kind of Spurs team are going to turn up. Kieran says here Spurs will beat Arsenal. There's a big hatred for the Arsenal fan base at the moment in the West Ham world after how they spoke after A, we lost to them, and B, we lost to Frankfurt, how they were gloating how we did this and that and started Rice.
There is a few slants on. I don't know if this is true, but Conte said in the interview today, my memory's not good at the moment, but he said it's the first game, might because of COVID and that, where there's been a full house at the Tottenham Stadium for the North London derby at the new stadium. So there's that. It has been rumbling on that they bottled this with their COVID excuse at Christmas. That's been rumbling on. So that'd be in the back of the minds of the Tottenham players and coaching staff. I don't know. I think.
But anyway, to be fair, hey ho, it's not really the big game because everybody wants Europa League. No one wants that Wednesday, Tuesday night rubbish. It's all about Thursday night. Thanks everybody for watching the Premier League round that show. We're not going to bother talking about Man City, Newcastle. City, fresh Newcastle. They do what they do best, and they've signed Haaland. So watch out next season. Villa play Liverpool tonight. Nothing else but a score prediction for that, Shaun.
Is Villa at home?
Christ, I don't know. Hang on, let me have a look. It says here Villa v Liverpool, so I think Villa at home. Yeah. Oh, I've lost your sound. Is that me?
It's you again, mate. I reckon.
Oh, there you go. That's right. I got you. Go on.
3-1. I'll go for, mate. Somewhere around that region.
3-1 Liverpool. There we go. Thanks everybody for watching the Premier League Roundup show. We will be back next week. Not many of these left now and then. I'll give poor Shaun and Josh a little bit of a break. Thank you very much, Shaun, for joining me once again.
No worries, mate. We'll chat again next week, I expect.
For sure. From me, come on, you on. Keep believing we can get that 6th spot. Send them Red Devils to that awful Conference League. But if we get it, it won't be so awful. If we do, then it won't be so awful. If United get it, it's crap. But thanks to everybody watching, and we'll catch you soon. And bye-bye.